Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Please make sure that you hit that like button. Please, please, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you know anyone who this may be of help to, make sure that you hit that share button as well. Now, today, as you guys know on this channel, we talk about finance. We're going to be talking about one of the ventures that I'm going to be starting to get into, which is getting my commercial driver's license. And I'm going to be telling you guys how I passed my CDL test on the first time to obtain my CDL permit. And I'm going to tell you guys kind of how the process was and walk you through how you'll be able to actually obtain your CDL permit the first time that you go to the DMV. Some quick tips, some mistakes that you could make along the way, and some little ideas that may help you throughout. So, when obtaining your commercial driver's license, you have to remember that there's three different classes currently for a commercial driver's license. You have an A, B, and C. Certain states also offer a D license, which is enhanced but not a commercial license. Your C license is what was previously called your chauffeur's license, where you can drive vehicles that allow 15 passengers or more, which is like small shuttle buses, limousines, things of that nature. Your B license is what's going to allow you to drive straight trucks, meaning not tractor trailers, but trucks like you see dump trucks, garbage trucks, things of that nature that are not tractor trailers. So anything over 26,000 pounds that is not a tractor trailer. And then your A will allow you to drive tractor trailers. And then you have your endorsements. You have, your passenger endorsement, which allows you to drive more than 15 passengers. You have your school bus endorsement if you'd like to ride or if you'd like to drive school buses. There's just a number of endorsements that you can go out and apply for. So personally, I actually woke up last week Friday. I scheduled an appointment at the DMV. I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning. I downloaded this app. It's called Cdl Prep. It's a red app on the App Store for the Apple App Store, and the app is called Cdl Prep. So when you get in the Cdl Prep app, what it actually does is it allows you to choose which tests out of the endorsement tests as well as the actual test that you'd like to study for. So there's three parts to the test if you're doing the class A. There's two parts if you're doing the class B, and there's one part if you're doing the class C. The class C just requires the general knowledge. The class B requires the general knowledge and air brakes, passenger and school bus endorsements if you're planning on driving a school bus. And then the class A requires general knowledge, air brakes, and combination vehicles. So currently, I live in the state of Florida. So the state of Florida requires you to take all three if you want to get your Class A permit, and then it is valid for a year. Now, in that time span, if you choose that you only want a Class B or C, you can actually take the permit, the actual driving portion, which is going to be your pre-trip inspection and then your road test. And once you do that, you will actually go on from there to be able to get whichever class you take the road test for. Now, if you take the test in an automatic vehicle or school bus, then they're going to restrict you to only being able to drive automatic vehicles. If you take the test in a manual vehicle, then you will not have any restrictions on your license. Currently, there aren't any of the schools in my area that allow you to do your Class A and get your passenger endorsement in one course. So it would be two courses. And currently, because your permit is valid for 1 year, you can go either route. You can get your passenger endorsement in your Class B first, or you can go and get your Class A first and then go back and get your passenger endorsement. It's just a matter of choice. Um, and whether or not you want to drive the Class B or the Class A vehicles first, or what your particular choice is and what's going to make you your money, or what you choose. So, once again, going back to taking the test, what I recommend is I'd recommend taking, a few days. Personally, I took a few hours because I work better under pressure. But in going through the app and taking each of those practice tests in the app, as well as the practice materials, once you get through the practice materials and the practice test, you're going to go to the DMV to take your test. What I'd recommend you doing is taking more than one test at a time. Reason being, when I went in, I took my general knowledge test first because that's what they recommended. I took my general knowledge test, and then they came back and told me that with taking my general knowledge test, I actually would have to complete my test, then go back in the waiting room, get another ticket number, and then come back to take my next test, which I then told them the second time to just give me both tests at the same time, because they had me waiting out in the lobby for over an hour. So, I took the one test and went out, sat in the lobby for over an hour, and then went back in to take the other two. And then I had to go and sit in the lobby again for over an hour to come back in to pay for the tests. Um, so you don't want to have to break it all up like that. It's best to just tell them that you want to take all of your tests at the one time, and that way you can knock all of your tests out. The testing is rather easy once you've done the study questions and you understand those vehicles and you understand the parts of the vehicles and the systems in the vehicles. And once you start understanding those systems and those parts, that's going to help you better apply when you're reading questions on the test, because they're going to be asking you similar questions to what's in the application, because there's only so many questions that they can ask on trucking, and you're just going to be applying the knowledge that you have from the app, in the prep questions to the actual test, and you should have no problems. Out of all three tests that I took, I missed six questions, and kind of because I was rushing a little bit on the general knowledge, because I was kind of anxious, and they told me, like, if you don't pass the general knowledge, then you won't be able to take the other tests. So I was a little bit anxious, so I missed five on that test, and then I missed one on the combination vehicles test. And other than that, I passed all the tests regardless, but you know, did got all the other questions correct. Went straight through the test, and I will say that the tests are relatively easy if you take that time out to practice and study. So I very well do recommend that you guys go and download the app. Again, it's called Cdl Prep. I'll probably leave a link down to it in the description, and that way you'll be able to use that. Now, the other thing is, do not forget to get your DOT physical before you go into the DMV. Reason being, for myself, I forgot, didn't go into the DMV, and or didn't take it into the DMV, and then I had to go back, schedule an appointment to get the physical, and then go to the DMV again to get the permit. So I'm going to be updating you guys on that. I go later on today to go and pick up the actual permit, but I ended up having to pay more for my DOT physical because I needed it done faster, just as well as now you've passed your test and you're excited and you want to get your permit and you're not able to get it until you go and get that DOT physical. So make sure that you get that DOT physical done and knocked out and out of the way. The testing fees are $8, and then they're the permit fees. Currently, I was told that there's no fee for the permit once you've paid for the test and everything. Make sure that when you go, I do recommend, if you're going to get any of the endorsements, that you go ahead and take your endorsements now. I recommend that for a few reasons. For one, if you're trying to get the passenger or school bus endorsement, um, if you don't get them now, when you go to school, you won't be able to take those driving tests, and then that's going to prevent you from actually getting the endorsement that you want. And the other reason being, if you know the trucking industry, once you do get hired and you're on the road, or you're working, just like any other job, it can get hectic, and you're not going to want to have to take time out to study for these other tests later on in your career, whereas you could have got them knocked out now and already paid for, and been ready to go. And the fees for the endorsements are minimum. There's $7 an endorsement. So it's best to have as many of them done, so that way, no matter what it is that you need to haul, you'll be able to haul it. Do be aware that if you go for the hazmat endorsement, that you do have to do a background check, because you could be hauling around potentially dangerous materials, as it being the hazmat endorsement. So you just have to be careful there in that aspect. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in once again. If you've liked this video, if you like the information, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, and share this video out to others so that they'll be able to get this information. And I'm going to be bringing you guys more and more information on the trucking industry, and some more information on tying it in and why I particularly am going to get my CDL. So, as always, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one.